Welcome to the H2Know Podcast, where we take you beyond the headlines and into the heart of Hamilton Community Schools. From classroom innovation and career pathways to success stories and community connections, this is your inside look at what makes Hamilton shine. Here's your host, Zach Harry.
Hello, Hamilton. Welcome inside the H2Know Podcast. Episode 4 today brings in the one and only man, myth, legend, Mr. Eric Talsma, Athletic Director, Hamilton Community Schools. Busy guy this time of year. Thanks for taking the time to be on.
Yeah, you betcha. Actually becoming a little less busy right now. Fall's starting to wrap up and getting ready to ramp up for winter season. First winter sports will kick off November 10.
Yep.
So big dates, November 10, November 12, November 19, November 24 are kind of the kickoff dates for our different winter sports. And as we wrap up volleyball and swim and dive right now, next few weeks and transition into winter.
Topic of this episode is to kind of dive into all the new things in the athletic world. I mean, weight room, athletic walkway, there's going to be a pathway at the football stadium. Athletic Boosters doing a lot of things. There's a lot going on. New people and new roles. So a lot to dive into on today's episode. Let's start with the weight room. I think that's where a lot of people are very excited, rightfully so. I mean, we had kids in the hallway crammed into the old weight room. It was not a great situation. A lot of work went into, shopping, for lack of a better term, a new weight room, touring different schools. Why don't you give people kind of a look inside what all yourself, Dr. Lusk, Dan VanHekken, Phil Copes, everybody just kind of had to undertake to make this all happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can start it back in 1998, 99, the planning for the previous weight room when the high school was built and opened in 2001. At that time, lifting classes were pretty small, pretty specialized. We did a lot of Husker power work. And as we got through, over the last couple of decades, obviously things have changed a lot, and the needs for our athletes and for our students that lift that aren't athletes changed. And we had to grow and get better in the current space with the confines of the room that we had. So that included working out in the hallway, working in the weight room, across the hall on the track, and just trying to get the space needed for 25, 30, 35 kids per hour that were taking our strength and movement class. So that kind of became the impetus of what are next steps, what can we do? And with the bond that was passed a while back, it gave us the opportunity to really look at our spaces and figure out what's our best plan of action, where can we make the best use of our current space without having to do additions, without adding on. So it became basically renovating that top corner of the high school and transitioning the wrestling room into the new weight room. That space provided us to grow and build out the space that we needed for 35, 40 kids an hour taking strength and movement. Also moved our dropping of weights that was over the servery and the kitchen for the cafeteria, moved that across the hall. So now it's over the locker rooms instead of those spaces, and then set our wrestling up across the hall with an expansion into some previous restroom space and school store space as school store becomes more mobile out to the stadium, down by the, in the cafeteria during basketball games, things like that. So really, I mean, looking at all possibilities and coming up with the best solution with our current spaces. So once we made the decision that the previous wrestling room would become the weight room, wrestling room moving across the hall, then it became finding the best equipment and the layout of the room that made the most sense for us and would service our athletes and our students and our coaches and teachers to best utilize those spaces. So, we started with some weight room tours. We went to 6 different schools, looked at different companies that had, everything from the Sorinex, which we ended up going with, all the way down to Roger Athletic out of Michigan. We tried to find every different major brand out there and really go into those spaces with a critical eye. What do we like? What do we don't like? What are things that are must-haves for us? What are things that we would like to have? And then piece those together to come up with the best room possible. So, an example for us, thanks to the work of Coach Copes and Coach VanHekken, we ended up deciding we wanted to go with Sorinex racks and accessories, the best out there, the most versatile. We can add on, jammer arms are a part of the rack system. What are the best bars out there? Well, they're Rogue bars. So we went with Rogue bars, actually saved a little bit of money over the Sorinex bars, We were able to get more of what we needed for the space. We went with Intech plates. Grand Valley just started using Intech plates. So we got to go to Grand Valley, put our hands on the bumper plates and really feel the quality and the what they did really well. And we were able to get almost 2-for-1 Intech plates to Sornex plates. So that really set us up for success. So just by shopping around, getting the best equipment that we could for the best value that we could, really allowed us to put together what we feel is one of the best weight rooms in West Michigan, especially at the high school level. Our kids every day are excited to get in and get to work, and having that new space and new equipment certainly helps.
You're looking at a guy who's learning a lot about weight rooms, because I don't see the weight room very often. Never did back in my prime even. But in all seriousness, seeing the kids' faces light up. I mean, it's been 2 months now. It's hard to believe since school started. What's been your biggest takeaway just from the kids' perspective since school started?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the most fun for me was those first couple days of school. The first time those kids walked into the new weight room and they're just like, can't believe what they get to work out in every day. But a big piece for us now, Coach Harbison, Coach VanHekken, kids come in after attendance, they line up, they put the warm-up on the board, and our kids are able to start right in on the turf area, getting their warm-up done, their dynamic done. They come back together. Main workout for the day goes up on the TVs, and they're able to gather, if they need med balls, dumbbells, whatever it is that they need, kettlebells. They bring it to their station with their group of 3, and they're right there. They don't have to go off and do something somewhere else. It's all right there by their rack. Super efficient. We're able to get more work done in a shorter amount of time. Really, I feel like we're like tip of the iceberg right now on how we can continue to build our program and utilize. What we're really looking forward to in the next couple of months is to start opening the weight room up before school, after school, evenings, so that our kids that can't take strength and movement but want to get in the weight room will have those opportunities as well.
And we'll be having some photos and videos posted on our social media platforms in the coming weeks. We're finishing up some branding in the weight room, which will look spectacular, by the way. So stay tuned for that. We're excited to kind of give the community a first look once it's all finalized. A lot of different upgrades around the stadium as well. Everything from the athletic walkway, which is now well lit as of last year. Now a ramp down kind of to the track and field area as well. I know we have like the little patio overlook at the stadium. Why don't you touch on some of the upgrades at the football and soccer stadium?
Yeah, basically the whole, I call it the interior of campus, not our school buildings, but all the athletic fields and adjacent areas. A big goal for us was to make those more accessible to all that want to come to our events. Our field event area at track and field was not the greatest for accessibility. The best way for a wheelchair-bound individual to reach our field event area was to go through the track and infield to get there. So we added a connecting path on the visitor side bleachers that now wraps around the backside of the fencing there to access our field event areas. And then obviously the pathway that we have, or the pathways that we have now throughout the interior of the main loop, allow access to varsity and JV softball, JV baseball, our soccer fields, our tennis courts. It's well lit. It's all smooth concrete and able to get everybody where they want to go safely and really much more easily than it used to be.
You've been taking on a lot the past couple of years, it seems like, in all these changes. I mean, is there anything that the community really should know, maybe that has fallen under the radar of, something they might not notice?
Yeah, I mean, just maintaining all of our grass that we have. We've got 2 softball fields, 2 baseball fields on the main part of campus, but we also have we call them the admin fields, or field 1, field 2 over here by the admin in Old Bus Garage.
Takes a lot of water.
A lot of water, takes a lot of mowing, takes a lot of fertilizer. It's a constant battle with moles here in Hamilton, keeping our grass fields looking good. We lean on Wolfram Lawn Service a lot to take care of a lot of those things. He's always there at the ready when we need him to take care of things that just frankly need to be taken care of. Certainly take a lot of pride in when we host a baseball or softball or soccer on our grass fields, and people are amazed at how great our facilities are for a high school. It just isn't the case everywhere. We have Paul to thank for that. We've got Keith and Jeff and our crew that helps maintain all those things. And then you add a real focus over this past spring, summer, and fall was upgrading our Wi-Fi and internet access across the interior. That allows us to stream our soccer games from our grass field, something we've never been able to do. We're adding streaming for softball games coming this spring. We added Coach Grabinski was cutting edge on the huddle cams for baseball this past spring, and we had the ability to live stream those games as well, adding that for softball this year, soccer. It's becoming more of the norm, especially at the varsity level. The expectation is that, people that can't come to our campus still want to keep tabs on how baseball, softball, soccer, volleyball, everything is doing. And with our partnership with Huddle, we're able to get those things done as long as we have the Wi-Fi and internet access that we need.
And what all went into the internet access? I mean, the tech team I know is involved in yourself, Dr. Lusk, doing a lot of walkarounds, and then there's a ticket aspect to that as well, being able to take mobile tickets more effectively. Is that right?
Yeah, we're getting closer to the potential of being cashless. Most schools that are cashless right now are using GoFan or something along those lines. GoFan's taking 20% of the proceeds there. I don't want 20% of our people's money to go to some company out there just for providing a digital ticket. So we're working towards using more of we actually use Clover Go right now with credit card readers and things like that. We're looking at the possibility of being able to do pre-order tickets as well through Clover. But then we're looking at 3% or 3.5% versus 20% going to some outside company. And so, the drive towards cashless certainly seems to be coming, and we're trying to find a way to do that cost effectively, good for the schools and also good for our spectators that are coming to campus.
I can see your beard turning grayer as you talk about that.
Yep.
Sounds like a big undertaking there as well. Really quickly, while we have a moment, we want to thank our Hawkeye Hometown Series sponsors today. Again, 42 community sponsors made the Hawkeye Hometown Tailgate possible, along with Victory Day, ABC Night coming this winter, and then the Hawkeye Hometown 5K in the spring. 3 of those platinum sponsors that we want to highlight today. Homestead Tea, of course, here in Hamilton, Custom Apparel. Casey Cooper, they do a great job. And then Miller Creek Tavern, of course, did a phenomenal job with the pork and all the food at the Hawkeye Hometown Tailgate. People are still talking about that. So a big thanks to them. And then Spectators Sports Bar in Saugatuck, a first-time sponsor for us this year in the Hawkeye Hometown Series. So big shout out to all those companies that make things like the Hawkeye Hometown Tailgate possible, but also this podcast and our community engagement fund as well. So big thanks to them. As we dive back in to the world of Hamilton athletics here with Athletic Director Eric Talsma, another interesting thing I think we need to talk about is the athletic boosters and everything that they've done and continue to do. And I know it's different faces, it's different people kind of rotating through and helping out where they can, but there's a lot of constants there as well that have helped out for many years. They do a lot, and a lot of times people don't know everything that they do. So I know we could talk about them for half an hour, but why don't you kind of fill the community in on everything that they've done over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, pretty easily could talk about all the things that boosters do for Hamilton athletics and Hamilton athletes on the regular. One piece with Miller Creek Tavern, Mike Scrotenboer and there have Ryan Vanderwall have stepped up and we're doing Miller Creek Tavern pulled pork at some of our larger events, football games, basketball games. We'll have that through the winter with our basketball games. But yeah, boosters, I mean, we would be a shadow of what we currently are without the boosters support. Obviously, we have some budgeted money through the school. We pay coaches and things like that, pay our officials, but our boosters are pretty much the sole provider of all of our uniforms, outfitting all of our high school teams and even middle school as well. Just that alone, we're pretty proud of outfitting our teams and having them look sharp while they're out there representing Hamilton. And without the boosters, they took that on probably a little over 10, 12 years ago, and they've been very faithful in that regard of making sure that we're outfitted and looking sharp. Equipment wise, they supplement what we're able to do with budgeted money. I would say a lot of the wants that our coaches have, boosters find ways to provide. We get the basics, the minimums through budgeted money, and then boosters are able to provide above and beyond that. And then the service to the community. I mean, being able to show up at a sporting event, not having to worry about running through and grabbing food or stopping home and grabbing food, but being able to grab a pulled pork sandwich or a hot dog or some popcorn while you're at the game is certainly huge. Also, probably one of the biggest struggles is manning those concessions on the regular. And huge shout out to the Mass family, Lisa and Dan. Lisa spends more hours than she probably should in coordination of our concession stands, and Dan right there at her side. Obviously, the more volunteers we have that are willing to get involved with boosters, and not even necessarily being on boosters boards, but being willing to volunteer for a shift in concessions, or a big push we have right now is just looking for some more concession stand managers, people that don't necessarily want to go to booster meetings, don't want to be involved on that level, but love being a part of concessions and helping out in making those events successful. Literally showing up a half hour, 45 minutes before an event starts and managing that concession stand for a couple of hours would be a huge help to what the boosters have going on.
And how can people get a hold of the boosters to help out?
Probably the best bet would be to either contact Lisa Mass. You get emails through her through Help Counter, or the HCS Athletic Boosters at hamiltonschools.us. Those are the two easiest ways, or people can gladly reach out to me and I can get them in contact either to my email or to Rachel Melvin's email, and we can get them in contact with the boosters as well.
It's a great segue. Rachel Melvin.
Yeah.
You have a lot of new people around you. You've needed. There's been a lot going on in the world of athletics, and Rachel Melvin's been phenomenal, I think, so far, if I can put words in your mouth, as the extracurricular assistant for our district. I want to talk about her. I want to talk about Dan VanHekken as the middle school athletic director, who obviously has been a long time figure here, but now stepping into that new role. And then Jeremy Vance with Hamilton Recreation, our new supervisor there. I know talking about all three people under one question is a little bit difficult, but what have you seen from those three from your perspective?
Well, this is year 5 for me in the athletic director role. 20 years coaching prior to that. And we found ways to make do, get by during that time. And one piece as I moved into the athletic director role was how do we continue to evolve and get better and grow what we're doing. And, with that piece, we transitioned some things at the pool with rec, with, making sure that all of our areas are taken care of. And this is just one step further down that road of adding an extracurricular assistant with Rachel Melvin. Dynamite, gets things done, takes care of a lot of the minutia of running an athletic department, which frees me up to do some, lack of a better term, some higher level things, some planning. We're doing a lot of work with our leadership group now at the high school level, expanding that, with plans to further expand, to be able to oversee a bit better what's going on at the middle school, what's going on with rec sports, what's going on at the pool, to make all of our programming better for our district and for our kids. So Rachel's a huge piece of that. She's about a little over 2 months in to her stint with us. So she is continuing to take more and more pieces on. Also working with Ashley Meyer and Matt Rakoff on our work-based learning programs, and is great at supporting those and helping plan those events, and just a real, I think, quickly becoming a very critical piece of what we do at Hamilton Schools, not just athletically, but also through our work-based learning program. And then, move on to Dan VanHekken, who's a 25, 26-year vet of Hamilton Schools, coached girls basketball for a long time, is one of our leaders in the strength program, and is now taking on the role of middle school athletic director. So he has a good portion of his day where he's able to take care of all things middle school athletics, from transportation and event workers to making sure coaches have what they need, athletes have what they need, and is really knocking it out of the park, being proactive on things, and really, I think, will allow us to move our middle school programming forward as well, as far as what we're able to provide to our athletes and to our coaches. And then, Jeremy Vance stepping in the role as rec director, maybe the one with the steepest learning curve. When you think of all things rec, I did that role for about 10 years as rec director, along with pool director. And you start thinking about the scope of a fall season where you have 400, 500 kids playing soccer, 120, 140 kids playing flag football, rocket football. We had 45, 50 sideline cheerleaders this year. Rolling right into 5-6 volleyball that just started up last week, and then into our Little Hawks wrestling, Little Hawks basketball programming, age group swimming, and then you jump right from that into Little League baseball, softball, t-ball. So it just doesn't quite ever stop. So Jeremy's kind of drinking from the fire hose right now, learning all those pieces. And so I think we're set up well to move forward, not just to maintain the status quo, but to get better. And that's a big focus for us is we're super proud of where we're at. Want to make that perfectly clear. Like, we've put a lot of work in, we've done a lot of really good things, but we're also not satisfied. We want to keep striving to get better. It's exactly what we want for our students and our athletes and our coaches. And we want to model that as well at the admin level and trying to build on those.
All right, kind of working our way backwards here, but the summer that you had, and we touched on the weight room a little bit, but there were also new coaches that were onboarded. Courtney Cronkright as the varsity volleyball coach, Zach Harbison, of course, as the varsity football coach, and then Liz Vandeweghe as the varsity swim coach. That was busy enough, and then you factor in the weight room, which was in the cafeteria for a while there during heat and all the summer programming. How did you kind of get through all of that chaos?
Yeah, obviously, with Coach Copes leaving and Coach Forey leaving, Coach Unk leaving, that left some shoes to fill. So we started the hiring process back last spring. As far as volleyball and football were concerned, swim was a little bit later in the year. So yeah, getting those coaching hires in place. Obviously, Coach Harbison coming up from Florida, that was a different time crunch. We couldn't get him in district until right after school got out. So yeah, it was crazy spring, crazy summer. Last day of school, we finished up in our weight room, had our last classes in there. We had our staff year-end celebration, retiree lunch in the cafeteria, and then we started moving cafeteria tables and chairs. We got our old practice wrestling room mats down. We got a bunch of horse stall mats to protect those, and then moved everything that was in our weight room down into the cafeteria and got that set up for summertime heat so we could keep our workouts rolling. That started up the Monday after school got out. So obviously then, with heat in the summertime, we had Coach Harbison in district now with Coach VanHekken. Coach Cronkright was involved with our summer heat as well. And then as we got through the summer, it was the hiring of Dan VanHekken. It was the hiring of Jeremy Vance. It was the hiring of Rachel Melvin. It was the hiring of Liz Vandeweghe and Carrie Prince as aquatics directors, pool directors. Liz taking care of a lot of the competitive side of things, Carrie taking care of our community-based programming, swimming lessons, open swim times, things like that. So yeah, June, July we kept things hopping, and then right into August with the start of fall sports with our new coaches and making sure they have what they need, supported and ready to go. So it's super exciting, the amount of energy that we have brought in with our new coaches, with our new staff members. Certainly a lot of work to onboard and get people up to speed, but also a lot of fun to see the new things that are brought in. Again, we've done things well. We want to continue to do things even better. So keep moving forward.
I want to throw you a curveball here before we sign off. What do you want Hamilton Athletics to be known for? What do you want your programs to be known for? Or what are you most proud of?
Yeah, I could never hit a curveball, but I'll see what I can do. What do I want Hamilton Athletics to be known for? I mean, it's something I'm super passionate about. Ran a program out of the pool, the swim program for 20 years, and I wanted us to be known for being respectful, being full of integrity, and to represent Hamilton in the best possible light that we can. Leading the athletic department now, we are the face of Hamilton outside of Hamilton. We go to Holland, we go to Spring Lake, we go to Grand Rapids, and what people's impression of Hamilton is because of what our coaches, our athletes, our parents, our spectators are representing out in public. There aren't very many other programs that a school can say goes into other communities on the regular and represents who we are. So that's, that makes my job, I think it's really important. I think it's, I want to take it to the next level and just continue to grow and be better and represent Hamilton better. And I feel very passionate. I've been in the district 25 years. All three of my kids graduated from Hamilton. We moved here 24 years ago, and we're a part of this community, and I want it represented well. I want to be able to say with pride, and I do say with pride, I'm from Hamilton. This is my place, and I'm proud of that.
Wow. That was a home run.
Wow. 84 miles.
That was deep though. That was
low and outside of the right field wall.
That was, wow. It was good. That was really good. Nicely done.
That's what we do.
Hamilton Athletic Director, Mr. Eric Talsma. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. It
was another episode of the H2Know Podcast, diving into the world of Hamilton Community Schools, trying to dive into some of our programming, offerings, things like that. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube, Facebook will always advertise our upcoming episodes and things that have been posted recently. And as always, go Hawkeyes.
Go Hawks.